If you haven't figured it out yet, we are communicating today via chat. So on your iPad, on your computer, you'll see that cool chat box that's there, and that lets us know what you're thinking. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to jump in and ask any questions. I'll, of course, be moderating those questions, and happy to ask those of Wade and Dave during the webinar. And, of course, if you're on an iPad and you see that heart button on the bottom right corner, feel free to tap that. When you like something that you hear, if you have more, if you'd like to hear more things about a specific topic, feel free to give us some hearts on there. It's definitely a way to let us know that you're engaged and that you can, you like what you hear and what you see. All right, so next, let's just dive into our presenter. So we have Wade Davis, who Wade is a business and law school alumni at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. He began his career in commercial investment banking with Fifth Third Bank Group, and Wade later co-founded the Atlanta-based private equity firm South Capital Partners, which manages a number of ongoing concerns and a total annual revenues of upwards of $20 million. Today, Wade engages the contractors nationally, primarily helping to facilitate business growth through the implementation of successful financing strategies. And so Wade is such a huge asset to our team. We're so excited that he's here, and definitely, you know, I think Wade has been pivotal in helping our contractor base to really understand this whole financing game and how to really bring light to the practicality of it and how it can work for your business. So super excited to have you today, Wade.
Good morning, guys.
And Dave Segur is on as well, and Dave is the National Sales Manager at Green Sky. Green Sky is the leading provider of consumer finance specializing in home improvement. The company enables the contractors to provide loans for home improvement projects via smartphone application and has quietly become one of the largest financial technology firms in the country. Prior to joining Green Sky, Dave was the VP of New Business Development at Interbank USA, which offers famous cash and zero-interest financing options to home improvement contractors. So definitely lots of merit there with both of these guys. Dave's super excited to have you on the call as well. And let's jump into this. Let's just talk about it, guys. So the Perfect Homeowner. Tell me a little bit about what this is and what that person looks like.
Yeah, good morning, guys. So this is Wade. I'm happy to be here. So yeah, let's talk about the ideal homeowner. Hypothetically, if we could only sell to one type of homeowner over and over again, and we could choose the buying characteristics of that homeowner, what would they look like? Well, I've come up with 4 different things, right? The ideal homeowner already has a plan to address their needs. They understand the costs that are involved with their specific home improvement project, right? They've anticipated the project, so they have savings allocated toward the job ahead of time. And they've already done their research online. So this homeowner is going to have evaluated payment options. They've evaluated the merits of the different contractors. They've selected you, and now they're waiting for your input on the project itself. And I want to say here that Dave and I are really trying to drive home one major point today, and that's the idea of offering financing to every customer every time. Because the reality is you're not going to run into the ideal homeowner except on a very rare occasion.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so four different types of scenarios I want to go through, homeowner scenarios from the field, and let's just talk about the homeowner's reality. In the first scenario, we've got an issue with the roof, right? So roof is leaking in the attic. You need a contractor to begin work immediately. Where am I going to get the money for this?
So this is what a homeowner would say, essentially, Wade.
Yeah, to themselves, or to, is this goes down back to affordability.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, there's got to be a fix. It's how do I pay for it?
Yeah. Okay.
So, and the second two quotes here really speak to the same issue, right? An unpleasant smell in the house. Maybe it's mold, right? Probably have a leak. The kids are sick. So we have an urgent issue. We need a fix.
Yeah.
And it's possible that that the money's not there to take care of the problem, but it has to be covered.
So certainly something that's not perhaps maybe unexpected even,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. So, and the last one I just put down was my roof's covered with black streaks, and I have my roof inspected for free. This is again, it goes right back to the affordability question. So these, when you have an emergency situation, and we'll speak to this a little bit later through some statistics, what we found is that homeowners are overwhelmingly not prepared for an emergency.
Gotcha. All right, let's talk about the price fighter homeowner.
Right. So in the second scenario, we're talking about a homeowner who is a price fighter. He's a negotiator, and so negotiators don't like to show their hand very often, and we want to carefully ask questions to gather information from them. And rather than prejudge that customer as somebody who is either stingy or somebody who doesn't have the cash or does have the cash, what we want to do is probe that customer in a way where we can gather information about what they're really looking for.
Okay. So he may say something like, that's a really high quote when the estimate comes in. I need to maybe even consider getting multiple quotes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so in a situation like that, maybe the quote is too high,
mm-hmm.
but if we could structure that into a monthly payment, then it might not be.
Yeah. And I think this is definitely applicable when you talk about, specifically the Atlas product, where we're adding so much more value to the product with Scotch Guard and those streaks and things like that. And so, your quote may come in higher, but they're also seeing that value. At the same time, they're getting multiple options. The financing option definitely, it comes off a lot easier in that conversation. Like, well, yeah, I can get something even better. That quote unquote,
Absolutely.
So, cool. Let's talk about the Affluent Homeowner.
All right. So the Affluent Homeowner provides a number of different opportunities, and I would caution you to not prejudge any customer as affluent, or not. But if a homeowner asks you whether or not you take credit cards, for example, because they want to use the points for perhaps a vacation or something like that,
mm-hmm.
that would be an indication that they are affluent and are a cash buyer, essentially. Two different opportunities with an affluent homeowner. One would be an upsell opportunity on the current project. So instead of selling just a shingle, you might you might want to upgrade to an architectural shingle or upgrade to a complete system, right? And then there's also the opportunity to come in and do multiple projects at the same time. So just another way to increase your ticket size on one homeowner, one particular homeowner.
Sure. Okay. And then the insurance claim, we see a lot of those coming through.
Right. So the insurance claim is obviously a big one. A lot of times We just had this Hurricane Florence. We've got shingles missing off of the roof. A couple neighbors perhaps in the neighborhood have already signed with a contractor to get a new roof, and folks in the cul-de-sac are talking about it, and you want to look into it as well, thinking, hey, maybe I should get a new roof as well due to the damage that may be on my roof.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, we all know that insurance deductibles are generally increasing across the board, and so that's become somewhat of a hindrance when we go back to talking about affordability, somewhat of a hindrance to getting a job done on an insurance claim.
And then I think, a lot of homeowners don't know their insurance policy, right?
They don't, and so they're going to need to have you guys come in as the experts,
sure,
and help them through that process.
Okay. So which type of homeowner do you see most often? And I think if you guys want to put that in the chat, we have these 4 different types of customers. The ones that call you when there's an issue. You have that guy that's the price fighter. He always wants to get another quote. Then you have the affluent homeowner and the insurance claim. Which do you see most often? Okay. We got some people putting things in the chat. Go ahead and pop that in. Great. Awesome. So a lot of you are saying that you, a lot of our customers are saying they do insurance, a lot of insurance work. A lot of them are saying it's kind of a toss-up. Some of them are saying they get that price fighter a lot. Some are even saying, they get the call that there's an issue, there's a burning fire, my roof is leaking, and this is something that I need, now. So it looks like we got a lot of customers that are all, hitting each point of this pain point in this customer cycle.
Sure.
So what is the homeowner's reality? How does the homeowner deal with these issues, whether they're prepared or not prepared?
Right, so this is a really important slide. I wanted to give you guys a snapshot of where we are at America, and what middle class America sees as their own reality when it comes to finance. So, Remodeling Magazine recently said the average customer in the United States will pay over $18,000 to replace their roof, which is a pretty staggering number.
Yeah.
We know that number is in excess of $10,000. I've seen different statistics across the board, but generally speaking, you could definitely expect that number to be 10,000 plus, so 5-figure job. So the Federal Reserve in May just released a report on the economic well-being of U.S. households, and this one speaks primarily to there's an issue or the insurance claim, right? So 4 in 10 adults, according to the Federal Reserve Bank, if faced with an unexpected expense of $400, would either not be able to cover it or would cover it by selling something or borrowing money, a la financing. So another statistic from GE Capital, consumers find it hard to write a check for over $2,000.
Yeah.
And the last one I think is very important, which is straight from the National Association of Home Builders, which states that about half of large ticket home improvements require some sort of financing, whether that's a credit card or whether that's promotional financing through a company like Green Sky or others.
Great.
And Wade, this is Dave. I'd like to add to that. what they say larger, what the National Association of Home Builders considers a large project is anything above $5,000. So, we all might be thinking, well, $12,000 is a big number, but if you really think about it, $5,000 is kind of the number the National Homeowners Association has considered a large ticket home improvement.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, and I think it's, interesting because when we realize that, most of the contractors on this call do multiple work that's specific to roofing, a roof is going to cost anywhere from $7,000 up. And so, most homeowners, if consumers find it hard to write a check over $2,000, most homeowners are going to ask the question either, during the quoting process or afterwards, or even maybe perhaps before, how am I going to get this paid for? And so, the more that we can come to the table with a resolve and work this conversation of homeowner financing into our pitch, the easier it's going to be to have that conversation, the more the homeowner will trust and rely on you, as well as, I think, ultimately ensure that the contractors are going to win the job. So let's talk about the contractor's reality. What does this look like for the contractor?
Right. So we know that contractor is not going to get certain things typically from a homeowner. So when I travel across the country and speak with contractors, a lot of folks will tell me that, well, all of my customers are cash customers or write a check. And, there aren't any that I'm going to lose because I'm not offering payment options, right? But let's really think about that for a second, right? The typical homeowner, they're not going to provide you their thoughts on your price. They're not going to tell you how much money they have saved up for the project. They're not going to give you their credit score. They're not going to give you their prior credit history.
Right.
And the reason for that is that you're the roofing contractor, right? You're not their financial advisor or their friend or their banker, right? Yeah. And so these are things that you're like, if you don't offer payment options, you're likely to run into a situation where the homeowner may say, if they don't have the money, they may say to you, all right, let's get a couple of quotes. You're the first person we've talked to, and then we'll give you a call next week. Yeah. And that call never comes.
Right. And one person, Dave, on here could mention something to that effect. Dave and Wade, maybe perhaps you guys can speak to that. He said homeowners often get leery when they perceive that you are, quote, pushing financing. And so, I think that is, in essence, what you guys are saying is the crux of this webinar, is to say, how do we broach the conversation of money, right, without it being pushy, without it being overbearing?
Correct.
So let me, as we go through this, we can speak about that a little bit more. But since we're on the contractor's reality, the hard facts, and I'll throw this out there. I don't really believe, and I've been doing this for over 30 years, I don't really believe there's a customer anywhere that saves money for an insurance deductible. I don't believe there's a customer out there anywhere who thinks, oh, gee, I'm going to start saving money to replace my roof, right? So, the hard, cruel facts of it is, most people don't even really think about their roof until there's a problem with it, till it leaks, until a storm blows it off. But they're just not saving money for that big purchase. I'm almost 60 years old, and I can honestly tell you I've never really thought much about my roof and haven't saved any money towards having to ever have to replace it. So I think that to the gentleman's point who says it's something pushy, you don't have to make it a pushy sale. You can just toss it out there and make it a benefit, another reason why somebody wants to buy from you and buy an Atlas roof, right? We sell a great product. We can have this installed for you in 2 weeks. We've got some upgrades we can show you that'll make this a one-time purchase for you. And oh by the way, another benefit of buying from Dave's Roofing Company is we offer some long-term and short-term financing for your roof. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be pushy. It doesn't have to be something that you're hammering home to the homeowner. You just have to make it a benefit, like everything else that you're offering the customer. Make it a benefit. Make it a reason why they would want to buy from you.
That's a great point, Dave. Great point. So let's talk about the problem solver. How do we solve this problem?
So, hey, Dave, would you like to speak to this one yet?
Sure. So at Green Sky, we kind of, when we were talking about doing this webinar, Wade and I offer, go around the country and whether I'm working with Green Sky or helping the guys at Atlas or wherever I go, our kind of motto at Green Sky is every customer, every time, right? And you never know how much money a guy has sitting in his pocket or why he might want to take financing. You just have to offer it. Make it part of your advertising. Make financing part of your sales process. Those of you that are on the call that are an owner, I can tell you this right now. We take over 1 million credit apps a year at Green Sky. And we keep really good stats, and we talk to our contractors, and we do surveys with everybody. And across the board, what we've seen, that if you start offering consumer financing to every single customer on every single lead, you're going to close about one extra deal out of every 10 leads that you run. So if your close rate is 30% and you're offering financing to every customer on every lead, it'll bump up to 40%. If you're at 50%, it'll jump up to 60%. So,
Dave, you
so
make
once
it
again,
essentially just by making the offer, you automatically, the data says win job.
That 100%. And I think in this slide here, it says implement financing as a soft close. And I think that's a really good point that Atlas put on this slide. I mean, you just have to mention it. And it takes so much pressure. It takes so much pressure off the customer to know that he has a way of paying for this unexpected expense. If you're in an insurance situation, there's probably other things that's wrong with this guy's house that he's going to have to pay for, right? There's other things, whether it's tree removal or whether it's all these other things. And if you come in there and tell the guy he doesn't have to pay for this roof for a year, or you can get him a low monthly payment of $120, $115 a month with no prepayment penalty, my goodness, you've taken so much pressure off these people, Or maybe somebody's getting ready to go on vacation and all of a sudden they have a roof leak, right? And they've been planning on going to Disney, and we all know how much it costs to go to Disney. And now all of a sudden they got to spend $7,000 or $8,000 to fix their roof. So, you never know what's going on in somebody's house, and those are all little reasons why we at Green Sky, really, that's kind of our motto, right? Our battle cry, instead of saying "Go Dogs" or whatever, like a college football team does. Our battle cry is every customer, every time. Great.
So let's go into this next section, which I believe is actually scripting for the contractors, how we approach this. I mean, to David's point in the chat, it can come off a bit of pushy if we don't, propose it right. But what I really like about these next slides, Dave, is that essentially what we've done is we've engaged the homeowner to tell us what their pain point is, and then we've been able to find actual script out, ways to give a soft sell, to pitch that to the pitch financing as an option to the homeowner in a soft sell so that they can have their own buy-in based on, what they've said their pain point is.
Right. So this is a great little slide for a much bigger conversation. I will tell you this. That at Green Sky and when Wade's out training people all over the country, we always try to teach everybody to offer at least two different payment options, right? A payment option for the cash buyer, right? The guy who has the cash but would rather use somebody else's money, and then the guy who lives his life off monthly payments. So on this slide here, there's an issue every customer every time. When you offer this, when it comes to the contractor feedback, right? Before I take a look at your roof, I want to mention we offer multiple payment options. You need to be really enthused about that. That needs to be something that says, hey, Mr. Customer, I got great news for you. We have a couple different payment options. I have a no interest and no payment loan. And I also have a long-term payment option for you where I can get that payment down as low as $125 a month. And your tone and how you deliver that as a benefit of buying from you is how successful you will be offering financing. Offering financing does not mean, oh, Mr. Customer, we do offer payment options, and leave it like that, right? You got to dig in a little deeper. You got to develop a cadence in your sales pitch where you actually tell the customer the types of different payment options that you have. Yeah. Tell the customer what his monthly payment will be if he's got good credit. So, right. And people, and to the point also, people expect this now. They walk into Best Buy, they walk into Home Depot, they walk into Lowe's, they go into all these big box stores. They see they can buy stuff on their credit, and lots of times they buy a bigger job just because somebody offered them financing.
Sure. Yeah, and so contractors, if you're on this call and you're thinking, how do I start that conversation with someone who calls me and says, hey, I just got a call, there's a leak on, my roof is leaking currently, and you show up to the job site, you can easily ask them and say, hey, it seems like this was a bit unexpected, and let your homeowner go to rambling and telling you about the issues that they're having and how they came, to home and their carpet was wet, and then they looked up and the ceiling was bulging, and let them tell you about, what they're saying, because essentially you've asked them to build trust. And once you're able to build that trust, then they're able to say, yeah, I didn't plan for this. And then, to Dave's point, that response on the contractor feedback is to be able to say, I get it, and before I take a look at your roof, we have a couple of options for payment, so that if you don't want to come out of pocket, you won't have to today. That is relief for a homeowner, and at the point that you're providing relief, I believe, you're automatically adding value to that contract, to that homeowner, which sets you apart from other contractors. So definitely consider these as tips that you can literally take down and be able to, customize as your own. And so let's look at the next perspective for that price fighter homeowner, Dave. Dave?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's look at the price fighter.
Okay. So, with this particular type of customer, lots of times those guys have, the reason they're the price fighter is because they have absolutely no idea how they're going to pay for this, right? they probably don't have the money, right? So that's one reason why he's more concerned about price than quality. Or maybe he's just a big negotiator and wants to get the best possible price. I have found through my experience is the price fighter cares absolutely more about price than he does quality of the job or financing or anything else. That guy just cares about the bottom line of the price. So if you can make that using zero interest type payment options, if you can make that affordable, if you can make the job affordable where he doesn't think, maybe you'll be able to know right away if he doesn't take a zero interest type loan where he can keep his money in his pocket and doesn't have to pay anything from 6, 12, or 18 months using one of the Green Sky payment options, you'll know the kind of guy that you have there. If he's the kind of guy who needs to live off a monthly payment, then guess what? You know that he doesn't have the money to even pay cash. Mm-hmm. So he'll play around with you because all he's looking for is the low ball price, and that's it. So, once again, going back, this is the kind of guy you really need to offer two options to. You need to offer him a zero interest promotion for a year, or you also need to make sure this guy knows, just so he can swallow his pride a little bit, that you also do have a longer term payment option for this guy. Yep. This guy's always the toughest because he's all he cares about is the price. But making it affordable for him with zero interest promotion or a monthly payment option, you can usually get this guy.
Right. Well, because essentially, why spend his money when he can spend your money in credit, right? And if it's zero interest for 12 months, then he can just space the payments out, and still go on that Disney vacation and whatever else. One question we had that came in, and Wade, I'll pose this one to you. Bill asked, when competing with credit cards with the points, right? A lot of people use their rewards cards. What can I tell my customers when I sign up with Green Sky? You're asking them to utilize, this financing option, and they also may have a credit card. So what is there a best process or way, and how do you advise the customer in that regard?
Well,
go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, sure. I would just tell contractors that generally speaking, your best credit cards are going to offer between 1.5% to 2% cash back, right? So let's take that that information we get from the homeowner there, and then we should know immediately that they are a cash buyer, right? And so we can pivot to selling promotional financing, and specifically a plan like Dave alluded to earlier, which would be something like, hey, I'll give you same as cash, 12 months, no interest, no payments. And what they'll do, typically this will be a sophisticated buyer, what they're going to do is they're going to look at the time value of money, and they're going to say, okay, well, if this contractor is offering me 12 months or 18 months, no interest, zero interest loan, mm-hmm. Then that makes the credit card points look pretty weak, right, in comparison when you take time value of money into account.
Okay, great. So then next we have the Affluent Homeowner, and the contractor question is, have you planned any additional renovations moving forward? So this is somebody, Dave, I'm assuming that, is not just doing their roof, but maybe they're considering siding and some other enhancements to their home? Right.
So the fluent buyer, I'll just tell you guys this right now. At Green Sky, we have the fluent buyer loves our no interest and no payment loans. right? He loves using somebody else's money. So if you've got an affluent buyer and you're offering a promotional loan, one of Green Sky's no interest, no payments, or no interest with monthly payments, that you'll have a great chance of getting that guy, just because he would rather use somebody else's money. He's got money in the stock market. He's got money. He's got a bonus check coming in. He's got tax return money coming in. The affluent buyer knows how he's going to pay for the job, right? And maybe that affluent buyer might say something like, yeah, I'm going to start this job in about 3 or 4 months because I got a bonus check coming in. Well, your comeback to something like that might be, well, gee, Mr. Buyer, guess what? I've got an 18-month no interest, no payment program that if you can pay this thing off in 18 months from the day we get it approved, which would hopefully be today, we can go ahead and start the job. And then anytime in 18 months, you don't even have to pay any interest. The job will already be done. I know we've got some price increases coming on the roofing and some of the building materials. I can lock you in on your price today. But most importantly, you don't have to take your money out of your pocket right now, and you can figure out how you're going to pay for this thing within the next 18 months.
Yeah.
So it's and on top of that, I will tell everybody this: the affluent customer, the guy who likes doing the zero interest type loans, he knows how he's going to pay that off. There's no doubt in his mind that he's going to get that bonus money. He's going to get that tax return money. So in return, most of the time, the credit scores and what we see at Green Sky on the 6, 12, and 18-month no interest promotional loans that we have, the average credit score for those customers is a 760 or better, and we have like almost a 90% approval rate on those zero interest type loans.
Okay,
so if you get a customer who will step up to a no interest, no payment loan, or no interest, one of the promotional loans like that, you can you got a really good shot at getting that guy approved and getting the job.
So Dave, let me just ask, because our audience is asking a little bit more information about the zero interest promotional financing. Do all of our contractors, once approved with Green Sky, have a package that is a zero interest? Are they able to offer that to their homeowners? Yes,
we do. We have no interest and no payment loans. So we have 6, 12, and 18 months no interest and no payments available for your customers. And then we also have 6, 12, 18, and 24 months no interest with a minimum monthly payment available for your customers. So it just kind of depends on what you want to offer to the homeowner. I will say this: those of you that have a sales force, what I strongly recommend is getting with Wade and going through your business and picking out 2 programs you want to offer. You want to offer a promotional loan, a no interest, no payment loan, whether it's the 12-month one or whatever, and then a long-term payment option. You have to offer both. You can't just offer one, because if you just offer a same as cash loan, you're missing all the customers that live their lives off monthly payments. And if you're just offering monthly payments, you're missing that cash customer, that affluent type buyer who would take advantage of the same as cash. The other thing that you guys need, so you always got to offer at least 2. I think we have this on a screen, probably the next screen if you want to switch screens, I think.
Yep, so the next one is about the insurance claim homeowner, but I think you did cover it. We covered it a while back, which was a couple of slides back, which was certainly, to your point, Dave, if you're on the call and, one of the biggest takeaways from, how to actually win the job is to, one, offer financing to every customer every time. But I think the other takeaway here is certainly you want to be able to give them at least 2 options when you're asking these engaging questions. And so one of the one-on-ones of marketing and sales is that you have to engage your consumer to find out what their pain points are. Once you're able to identify their pain points, then you're able to read into that and actually be a solution-oriented person. When you're solution-oriented, you're able to gain trust and win the job. And so, you know, in every one of these instances, Dave, I think you bring up a great point, which is, you know, not only do customers want to be informed by their contractors, but they also want to be able to have their contractor bring them options specifically when it comes to their spend and their money. And so here in our insurance claim slide, you know, the contractors asking that engaging question once again, they say, hey, you definitely have a valid insurance claim, because they know they have an insurance that they've been paying on every month. And then, you know, the open-ended question is, have you reviewed your homeowner's policy? So tell me a little bit about this response for the contractor after the homeowner is kind of giving them that feedback.
Sure. So first of all, Green Sky does finance deductibles, and you can go, you know, we'll finance anything, any amount of the deductible. At Green Sky, just so you know, we even if the deductible is, let's say, $1,500 or $2,000, we will finance that amount. So you can finance any amount of the deductible that you want with Green Sky. So the other beauty of using Green Sky, of helping the customer, getting that customer to apply for financing with us to finance the deductible, is that we max approve at Green Sky. So let's just say in your example here, the deductible is $5,000, and within our credit platform, that customer might qualify for $7,500. Okay, so, or on the $10,000 deductible, maybe that customer would qualify for $12,000. Okay, we'll finance any of those. So just kind of think about this for a second. Most people are going to need more extra work done than just what the insurance company is going to pay for. Mm-hmm. So you can not only finance the deductible, but it's a great opportunity to do extra work for that customer. Yeah. Gee, Mr. Customer, I know that your deductible is $10,000, but look at this. Green Sky got you approved for $12,500, and the payment's only $15 a month more. Yeah. And you really need this extra work done. So
now they
by using
whatever else they need, you know,
right. So we will finance deductibles. There's no doubt about it, and it's the same thing. You gotta offer two different payment options. You got to offer a same as cash type loan, and you also have to offer a long-term payment option.
Great.
But once again, I think the insurance with the insurance claim, it's a greatly you're doing your customer a big disservice if you're not trying to get all the work done while you're there. And once again, Green Sky Max approved. So if you're asking for that $5,000, you know, probably about 65% of the time, we will approve you for more money than what you requested for to do, so you can do add-on sales, especially in an insurance situation where the customer is going to need more work done than what you've just bid on.
Great. Awesome. So just doing a quick time check, we got about 13 more minutes. So let's talk about increasing the average ticket size. So this looks like to me that essentially we deal with, you know, upgrades, right? Everybody, no matter who you are, when you're typically going to buy something, there's always the opportunity for an upgrade.
Right. So and also financing things, right? Well, I mean, how many people look at their iPhone and buy the most basic of iPhones? Most people will step up and they finance. Most people won't pay anymore the $1,000 for the new iPhone 7. They just roll it into their phone bill. Right. You know, I think phones are a great example of upselling and using financing. Cars, you know, we all buy probably as nice a car as we can feel like we can afford. You go to the furniture store. You go from getting a lazy boy up to a sofa, diamond rings. People finance everything now, and it allows you, if you're offering consumer financing, it allows you to sell a bigger job. We see at Green Sky contractors that use our services and kind of follow the game plan, usually see an increased ticket size of about 25%. So if you're used to selling $10,000 jobs, your average ticket using financing will go up to about $12,500.
Yeah.
So as an example.
So what is the difference between promotional financing and monthly payment financing? Because I think a lot of times, even as people who offer financing as businesses, we get this confused. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So promotional financing, think about going to Best Buy, right? And the furniture stores and the ads that you see on in the newspaper on Sunday, for those of us that still get a newspaper. And you see all of that, you see those ads everywhere, or when you walk in the store, no payments for 18 months, no payments till 2020. Those are promotional type loans. Those are the jobs where you're motivating the customer to buy from you today.
Yeah.
And you can pay for it down the road. And the kicker on it, one of the benefits of that is, guess what? If you do it and if you pay it off by 2020, you don't even have to pay any interest. Right? So those are promotional. That is promotional type financing. So just think, there's always some sort of promotion in there. Monthly payment financing, the best way to explain that is just like your car payment. You make your car payment for a fixed rate and for a fixed term. So you do it for 9.99 for 60 months with no prepayment penalty. That is promotional type financing. And once again, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but it's really important everybody walks away with an understanding that there's two types of customers. There's the cash customer who knows how he's going to pay things off and loves promotional financing, right? And then there's also the monthly payment buyer, the guy who will buy from you every single time if you can get a monthly payment within his budget. Yes, I'll buy from you today if you can get me $125 a month. Yes, I'll buy from you today if you can get me $140 a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why you have to offer two completely different payment options.
Okay.
I'll kind of speed through this. We just put up on the screen the Green Sky mobile app. Everybody that enrolls with Green Sky will have access to the mobile app. It takes once you learn how to use it, takes about 90 seconds to get somebody approved using the mobile app. There's another cool thing on our mobile app, and Wade can go over this with everybody in more detail, but there's the payment estimator. Will you go back one screen for me? So that payment estimator is pretty cool. On the payment estimator, we have a good, better, best type scenario in there where you can put up to 3 different payment options on there, and also up to 3 different prices for your roof, right? So you can do a good, better, best scenario on the payment estimator. We could do a whole nother webinar on how to use the payment estimator to close more sales. So great tool, that payment estimator. Go ahead, next screen.
And we'll send out notes in the webinar recap with all of this information and more links. So Wade will make all of that available for anybody that's on the call today as well.
Okay. Real quick, this is kind of how you submit the loan. You'll click on new applications, and then there'll be 3 ways you can apply. You can either type the information in old school. You can ask the customer to see their driver's license. And the most popular way is using the GPS. Using GPS, it'll actually figure out the address that you're standing in. It'll ask, is Dave your customer? You hit yes. You click through a couple more screens, And then within about 3 or 4 seconds after you hit submit, you'll have your customer approved. When you do sign up with us, we've got videos, we've got there's a demo application. If you look down there to the far left-hand side, there's a demo application that you can practice with. We got lots of ways you can learn how to use the mobile app. Of the million credit apps we take in a year now, it's up to almost 38% of all the credit apps that we get at Green Sky come through the mobile app. So it's really a popular way of having your customers apply.
Yeah. And homeowners, once they're approved by Green Sky, you can automatically actually add this to your site, so a homeowner can get pre-approved. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we have, when you sign up with us, we have some coding already basically done for you that you can put financing right on your website. So you'll be able to pick those 2 or 3 plans that you really like and put it right up on your website. And then when you're setting your appointment, or when, if you're at the customer's house and you don't want to use the Green Sky mobile app or don't want to have your customer call in, you could actually direct that customer to your website and tell the customer, hey, pick whichever payment option you want to get approved at. Your job's going to be about, $10,000, and go ahead and just apply, and it'll take 2 or 3 minutes to get you approved. So lots of different ways to have your customers apply. Over the phone, we have 2 call centers open till 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, over the internet or using the mobile app.
Okay. And then how to get approved for a contractor. So I know I'm getting a lot of people in the chat that's saying, okay, so I'm interested in figuring out, how to offer my homeowners this type of financing, how to be able to close more jobs, how to increase my average ticket rates. And so very simple, easy way to put all your information in. You log in to our website at Atlas Roofing, go to /pro. If you don't have a free Pro Plus account, then you can set up so that you have one there. And as soon as you jump on into your Pro account, this is the type of screen that you'll see. And right down here, this is the Green Sky financing tool. Just click on there. You can fill out all your information right there and apply for Green Sky. If you have any questions, our information is there. So here is Wade's contact information. And Wade, I know you're super engaged with our contractor base on a day-to-day basis to just get them approved.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll field calls and emails all day from you guys. If you do log in to our Pro portal, just click that Green Sky button, like TR mentioned. The application process takes about 5 minutes to complete. It's very easy. I'm happy to walk you guys through that. So either give me a call or shoot me an email, and we'll set up a time to make it happen.
We also offer contractor-focused resources. And so one of the things that Wade worked really hard on earlier this year was putting together a video for contractors. It's called Financing Options for Contractors. And this, if you hang up from this call and you're like, I still need more information, obviously Wade is a huge resource for us and as well as Dave. But check out this video on Asphalt Life. Go to asphaltlife.com or asphaltlife.atlasroofing.com and search finance in there, and you'll find this video in there. It talks about all of the different financing options that you should be aware of as a contractor.
Absolutely.
Then Dave's information is here. Dave is obviously a huge asset. I know he said a lot of good things that has got a lot of questions that have come in the chat for you, Dave, about, the payment options and what is 0% down and how can I offer that. And so here is Dave's information. Feel free to shoot him a note, him or Wade. They're happy to answer or respond to any questions. But if there are any last questions, feel free to go ahead and ask those. Now you can pop those in the chat. Caprice, I'm going to send you Wade's information. You can't see it in the chat, but yeah, and we'll also send out a recap. Great. Looks like a lot of you guys are saying, okay, here's one question. What do you need to qualify in order to offer financing? Wade, do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, sure. So the underwriting requirements for becoming a credit dealer with Green Sky are pretty simple. First is you've got to be in business for 2 years or more. We like to see that. The second thing is we want to see good credit history, commercial credit history. So that's everything from a commercial credit card that you might have with, say, American Express, to a line of credit with your supply house, whether it be ABC or somebody similar. Third requirement will be a criminal background check, and all we're looking for there is making sure you're not a convicted felon, and making sure that we don't have aggravated misdemeanors, especially those like involving violations of trust and things like that.
Okay. Now, another question that came in is, once you're approved with Green Sky, how quickly do you get paid once the homeowner has been approved? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So that's actually one of the great benefits of this program. You can take up to 20% down payment when you land the job.
So immediately after getting an approval from the homeowner on the loan,
right,
you get a deposit.
That's 20%. Correct. And so that would land on the next business day.
Okay. Wow.
So so up to 20% up front, 80% on completion.
Great.
Again, that would be a next business day deposit.
Okay. And then commercial contractors, if you have a commercial company, are you able to offer financing to those types of customers? Is it limited only to residential?
Well, you can offer financing through Green Sky to commercial on a commercial building, let's say, but this would be a situation where the principals of that commercial enterprise would be the ones applying for credit.
Okay.
And Dave, maybe you could speak to the church example that was recently done. I think that's
sure.
That might...
So this is just an example of how you can use our program to get some of these smaller commercial type jobs, because we don't go more than $55,000 on our credit approval, but we do not care where the work's being done at. We never ask to see a copy of your contract. So let me just give you an example of something you could do. I had about a year ago, I had a contractor call me, and he was bidding on a church, and the church just didn't have enough money to do the job. So what they did was they got a couple of the members of the church to go ahead and apply for a Green Sky loan. We got them approved, and the contractor was able to build the job using the credit that the members of the church had. So bottom line to it is, we don't care where the work's being done at, but when they apply, if they're doing a commercial job, they have to use that owner's personal credit. So you can't use, if you're repairing the roof at Dave's Pizzeria, you can't use Dave's Pizzeria for the credit. You have to use Dave's, personal credit.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you guys, these are some, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we've got lots of more questions in the queue that I will certainly share with Dave and Wade. Thank you guys so much for joining today's webinar, and look for the link to review this webinar within the next 24 hours, as well as the survey to get your feedback. Thanks to all, and have a great day.